In this video, we'll be solving a word problem that has several different paths to solution. A farmer has a daughter who needs more practice in mathematics. One morning, the farmer looks out in the barnyard and sees a number of pigs and chickens. The farmer says to her daughter, "I count 24 heads and 80 feet. How many pigs and chickens are out there?" Let's think about this problem. So we know we're dealing with pigs, and we know we're dealing with chickens, and we're going to be counting heads and feet. So let's draw some pigs and chickens. There's a reason I went into math, not into art, but you can see my pig and my chicken right here. And we can see that the pig has 1 head and 4 feet, and the chicken has 1 head and 2 feet. So we understand the problem. We understand what pigs and chickens are. We understand how many heads, how many feet they have. I encourage you at this point to pause the video and solve using any method that you want to, whether you use guess and check or algebra or a picture or some other method. Go ahead and try to solve this. Once you've solved it, turn the video back on. Welcome back. Okay, so I hope that you came up with an answer. I wanted to give you a chance to think about it, but I also want to point out some really important resources. In this class, I'm going to be making a ton of videos, and it's really tempting to just watch my videos and ignore the book. But the book is a fantastic resource. So let's go check out our ebook. I'm looking in section 1.1 right now, and look at problems 17, 18, and 19. They're very similar. 17 has the pigs and chickens. 18, not pigs and chickens, but bicycles and tricycles, and then 19 is back to pigs and chickens. So if you had one of these to be turned in for a grade, one, you could, if you had already done the pigs and chickens problem, you could probably recognize the bicycle and tricycle problem. But if you were stuck, let's go back into the section. I'm going to go back to page 15. And it turns out the problem that we are doing right now is one of the problems in the book. So this book has great examples. And in the examples, they also really describe the thinking. The authors describe the thinking. We'll briefly go over the different solutions in the book, and then I'll invite you to either look over the solutions in more detail or watch a video in which I talk through and work through the solutions in more detail. So it's your choice whether you want to rely on the book for this one or rely on a video. In either case, I would expect that you understand each of the methods presented if you were given a similar problem. Let's do a brief overview of each of the methods. So here they go through several different methods. Random, trial, and error. This is not one that I would suggest, but it's valid. You could just start picking numbers of chickens and numbers of pigs and keep trying until you got to an answer there. We're going to avoid random, trial, and error. Another strategy that's similar but a little bit more organized is the guess, check, and revise with a table. So in this one, we aren't just randomly picking numbers, we're using our most recent guess to inform our next guess. I'm going to go over all of these in detail, but this is just an overview right here. This is a really clever one with the diagram. I love this one. I hadn't thought about it until I read the book, and then now it's one of my favorite ways to solve this problem. We'll look at an algebra strategy where we're using variables and using algebraic methods to solve. And then finally, we'll look at a more sophisticated, just like we had guess and check, and then guess, check, and revise. We'll look at a more sophisticated diagram, not exactly like this, but the same kind of idea. The whole point of doing this problem, one, besides building your toolbox of the number of ways to solve it, is to hope to remind you to look back at the book because, man, it has some good tools in it that you probably will want to use throughout the semester.